I feel so bad for him and for America. Voters expressed concern over Biden. In the inaugural presidential debate of the 2024 election cycle, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump faced off on Thursday night. The ages of the candidates, Trump is 78 and Biden is 81, have alarmed voters across the nation, and the debate heightened their apprehension. Nevertheless, followers of the two major parties feel they have few options left, with only a few weeks till the conventions, where each party will formally announce their choice of candidate. Voters who are Democratic, Republican, and Independent, who the BBC spoke with, expressed concern about Mr. Biden's suitability for the ticket. We questioned them after the debate on Thursday if their vote would be affected by his critically criticised performance. We begin with a voter who believes she is forced to back the president. Lori Gregory, from the Bay Area, 61 years old, the Democratic Party. This veteran Democrat could hardly stand to watch the debate because it was so difficult for her to follow. But she intends to cast a blue ballot in November, regardless of the candidates' performances. I didn't see the entire thing. I was unable to cope with it. Is this the best that our nation can do? I would have been overjoyed if Hillary had shown up in her pantsuit. I abhor everything about Trump, including his dishonesty, infidelity, and moral relativism. Although Biden is a much better person overall, last night was such a letdown that I felt terrible for him. Jacked up Joe from State of the Union was on my mind. Instead, all of the things that people had been criticizing him for suddenly materialized on stage. I'm really sorry for him and America, but we must endure this. To be honest, I became disinterested in the debate. I believe that my only option is to vote for the candidate who is blue. Dominic BashFord, Florida, age 27, Republican Party. Dominic is a libertarian who voted for the Democratic Party in 2016 and 2020, but he is now totally supporting the outgoing president. Being a supporter of Trump, I will definitely vote for him. I believe the Republicans were setting themselves up for disaster going into this discussion. To be honest, I was shocked that Biden performed so poorly. I had assumed he would perform better. I felt a little pleased with Trump. In my opinion, he appeared considerably more presidential than during the previous debates. The last time he was pretty negative. I believe he hit the right note last night. The Trump you witnessed in 2016 was not the same as the one you saw on stage. At Biden's age, the Trump of 2016 would have taken a lot more cheap attacks. Biden's body language conveyed a sense of defeat. In my opinion, Trump handled Biden's age with a very presidential air. I did not vote for Trump in either the 2016 or 2020 elections, but I will vote for him enthusiastically now. A few minutes later, Dominic texted, "You could have almost called myself a never Trump supporter in 2016. My perception of him has entirely shifted. Callahan is a 23-year-old Democratic Party member from Florida. Connor, a Democrat, supported Biden in the 2020 election. While he intends to follow suit in 2024, he is worried about the president's advanced age. Concerned about a second Biden term is me. I have no doubts about the competence and abilities of those around Biden to do the duties required of them by the executive branch. Furthermore, I have no doubt that Biden is thinking about what is best for this nation. All that being said, I have less faith than ever in Biden's capacity to govern this nation. Massive steps have been taken by the Biden administration in the areas of infrastructure, mobilizing our allies, pardoning marijuana offenders, investing in clean energy and forward-thinking technology, and lowering prescription drug costs. Since I believe that this first term has been rather successful, I find it painful to suggest that Biden might not be the ideal leader at this time or for these programs. None of this, in my opinion, could persuade me to support Trump. I was unable to support a candidate who has drastically lowered trust in our electoral system despite the advice of all of his own advisers telling him otherwise. or a candidate whose numerous scandals and adulterous affairs, which are now acknowledged as true in court, clearly demonstrate his lack of moral integrity, or a candidate who supports the worst forms of bigotry and politicization across the board in our government and society, or a candidate that I have never heard discuss a subject intelligently or thoroughly. Californian Crystal Myers Bar-Ber, 47 years old, Party of Republicans. Crystal is a devoted Trump supporter who will vote for the former president in November after doing so twice already. Biden came out as extremely weak, while Trump came across as very presidential and level-headed. I genuinely didn't think that Biden should have even been invited to this discussion. To be honest, I didn't think he was mentally sound. He struck me as being really frail and fragile. Watching this 90-minute debate between Biden and Trump was excruciating. My top 3 concerns are the economy, border security, and the fentanyl crisis, and I didn't think Biden addressed any of them. Like Trump, I oppose both abortion and the abortion pill. I like that he supports Christian conservative beliefs and that he is pro-life. I really believe he will prevail in this argument because this nation respects him. He proved in this discussion that he can and will prevail. Shana Ziolko, a 39-year-old Democratic Party member from Missouri, Shana is dissatisfied with the status of affairs in the nation and intends to support Biden in the next election. As I watched the debate, I became really irritated. In my opinion, none of the issues were truly addressed by the responses they provided. It was tiresome to observe. Neither of them seemed to perform any better than the other, in my opinion. Mr. Biden appeared frail and exhausted. If he did have a cold and had something worthwhile to say, he wasn't communicating and wasn't comprehensible. That reminds me of how, by appearing healthy, Kennedy defeated Nixon in the first televised debate. Trump was acting belligerently and digressing. He seemed stronger physically, but I don't think his content was really strong. I think I'm still going to support Joe Biden because I oppose putting Donald Trump in office. If both parties will reevaluate their nominees, it would be wonderful. I am aware that notion is now being discussed. It would be beneficial to us. I had hoped that Biden would withdraw so that someone else might declare their candidacy before he revealed his intention to seek re-election. However, I prefer a Democrat to Mr. Trump in government. Eric Kaiser, an independent man from Indiana, is 45 years old. Independent voter Eric cast a third-party ballot in 2020. He hasn't made up his mind about what he'll do in November. Trump is a long-time psychotic liar who will say anything to protect himself and is just interested in avoiding jail time. Biden is weak, elderly, and disconnected from his constituents. In my opinion, President Biden is more adept at hearing opposing points of view. I found it telling that Trump would discuss the subjects he felt like talking about when the moderators would offer questions. As of right now, I'm not sure. I'll have to wait and see. In between now and November, a lot can happen. In my opinion, there are strong arguments against each candidate up there, but there are also strong arguments to vote against them. Rather than casting a ballot against a candidate, I would prefer to see one that I can support. Someone who is more focused on completing the job than winning another election is what I want. Biden and Trump are not youthful. I'm not sure if any of them could serve as president for 4 years. I can tell they're more interested in other things than leading a nation since both of them were up there fighting over their golf game. Talk about your ideas and opinions, what you think about every. Comment below, appreciate you. Seeing for more, like and follow our Facebook page and subscribe our YouTube channel. We appreciate your help.